moving on to that, it's been a while since we recorded, but
Yes.
quite a bit information or situation have happened in our community, in the state, and around us. I just want to us to talk about the situation that happened with the shooting of that guy in Aurora. I don't know if you got a chance to see the video.
I know of it, but I do not know
You do
too
not know
much of
about
it.
Okay, but I think by now everybody may have seen the video. I've seen what unfolded and how everything led up to the shooting and that guy losing his life. We are not here, or me personally, I'm not here to talk about the situation, what could have, what. That's not what I wanted us to address. I want us, especially to our people, to address how can we avoid this situation so that we don't find one of us or our community member into this situation, because this situation is similar to the Congolese guy that was shot in the head and killed in Michigan. I remember back maybe 2 or 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But I want us to more talk about the education portion of this encounter. What happened, or how to respond? How do we carry ourselves when we are in this situation? When we are having an encounter with a police officer, how can we carry ourselves? How can we do better instead of jumping into a confrontational position?
That's a really complex either question or statement. So I do not know the statistics. Ah, man, this is very tough. In a way, like, that's really tough.
Oh, let me ask, how can we carry ourselves? Because when I look at a lot of the situation that tend to happen with police officers versus us, or versus another.
So I'll ask this question. So which number is more or is higher? Is it police officer being provoked higher in those situations, or sometime also police officer? Like, which number is higher?
Well, that's where I'm not talking about. Okay, let me clarify.
So then we know, like, okay, are we going with the higher number or the lower number?
Neither. We are not talking
Because
about the number or the which side. We are not. I'm not asking you to pick a side.
well, if you are asking to pick a side when you say how can we carry ourselves. So you asking me on this side, how can we carry ourselves?
Yes, because from early on we have thought that somebody with the authority position, we always have to submit to that person.
Okay.
Because the person is mandated by law, by state and the constitution to be the law enforcement, or the law the law order. That person has that chip, has that mandate.
No, yeah, of course.
So that's what I'm saying, because with a lot of the confrontation that we have seen is that we don't want to follow the order of that person, or of what the law has given, the power that the law has given to that person. And that's why I wanted us to talk more about that.
But we are picking a side. You're saying the civilians tend to not follow or to not submit to
the law.
and that's why we end up in these situations. That's picking a side. But if we're gonna go that route, well, it is very dangerous. One, I don't know what triggered certain people to react or to think that they can overpower somebody. One that legally have the power, like that legally has a gun.
Hold on. I think Uncle Chi, you are kinda you are still
I'm
trying
not picking a side.
get into the controversial side of the conversation.
I thought you're the one who like controversial. How did I come on this side? I'm saying this.
Mm-hmm.
If the way to carry ourselves,
Yeah.
because we are seeing situations where people are losing lives because they did not follow orders.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So I'm saying, like, one, I don't know what is triggering people to think that they can go against the law or to think that they have power that can over exceed the law to the point, because at the end of the day, how do I safely say this? At the end of the day, one of you guys have the legal power to do whatever they want. I'm not saying that they are careless with their power, and some do. In some cases, we're seeing on the side of authority where they are careless or they're irresponsible. But that doesn't mean we are to. So, like, if they're in that position, we trust that whatever process that they went through to get there, there's that responsibility to know, like, oh, this person is carrying a gun, so they've been trusted to carry a gun and protect and serve the people responsibly. So that on our side, that should not give us the big head or the power, like, oh, I know my right. Knowing your right and abusing your right are two different things. You can know your right, like, if the police officer, for instance, and say, you know what, let me see your wallet, or put your hands where I can see them. Like, there's no need for you to be like, oh, why do you want to see my hands, or like, oh, let me see your driver license and whatever they're asking. There's no point of me, I will speak for myself. There's no point of me saying, be like, oh, what do you want to see my driver license? And for, like, I'll give you an example. When the last time, and this has been a long time, the last time I got pulled over for speeding, the police officer asked me, oh, do you know why I pulled you over? I was like, sir, you pulled me over for speeding. I apologize. That in itself has set up the foundation of the conversation. Because I have acknowledged, before he even tells me, I have acknowledged why I got pulled over.
Yeah.
But if I were to have a different tone, like, oh, are you pulling me over because, maybe my skin color, or because I'm driving a nice car or whatever, that also can say a tone for what kind of where the conversation is going to lead. So I think one thing we have to keep in mind is we have to try to trust the system that they place them in those positions because they went through all the necessary steps that they need to go through. Last time you were talking about the officer that giving in the flesh. You mentioned, like, one bad apple can be the image of the other good apples. The system is nowhere near perfect. But we shouldn't, like, if I see a cop, I shouldn't automatically start thinking of whatever negative image that is out there until maybe I'm in that situation. I don't know. I don't know if I made sense, but I feel like I'm going in circles.
No, I think you do to certain extent because the reason I asked that because I felt like even if I have to look back with what happened with the Patrick guy out of Michigan and the recent situation that happened with those shooting, I can compare. Uh, I'm not saying that both are the same, but I can compare. When I look at it, everything evolved around lack of discipline. It involved around lack of I would say self discipline, and because being disciplined, you will be able to
Sure.
you will be able to follow certain basic principle of life, which is like somebody in the position of power, you have to be able to submit to that. And I think we to avoid in order to be able to avoid all this escalation, all this situation, I feel like the first thing that we supposed to do or our responsibility. This might fall maybe into the responsibility part of us as being a citizen. What is our responsibility
So I
in order
think
to avoid
I think
those
we have to
confrontation?
go with a perfect situation.
Okay.
A perfect situation meaning is the side of authority are doing what they're supposed to do, and the side of a civilian they are also doing what they're doing. Because you are suggesting that we submit and follow the protocol of the authority. That is a perfect situation. Then it's kind of complex too because there are times where you do what you gotta do, what you have to do, you follow the instructions, and then you have the authority side. They happen to be responsible with the authority. So, which part do we want to talk about now? Because this situation is very complex, and that's why we have this conflict outside. So like is either people are for the police officer or the authority side, or some people are on the other side. Nobody's trying
Well,
to.
you can you can never just go. You can never go around the government in the first place.
Huh?
You can never go against a government. So,
You can.
how did that end up for all those people?
January 6th. And now he's running
Oh,
the country.
please, Okochi.
Anyway,
Let me
go ahead.
get back. So, like I said, you can never go against a government in the perfect picture as you look at it. But what we can do is for us to better educate ourselves, to better have a self discipline, to educate our community, to make sure we are holding ourselves accountable so that we don't end up in those situations. Because
I love that you're saying that we to do our due diligence to make sure everything is going according to what the system is in place for on the community side. And so I have a question, but the question is for two sides.
okay.
Who is going to make sure we are holding ourselves accountable, and who's also should be who should be the one to make sure the authority side is being held accountable?
Great question you asked, by the way. I would say the vast majority of us, we came here with our parent, if not with a parent, if not, we came here with at least someone who's responsible for us. And also, we do have our community. We also have our churches, our mosque, and we also have our leader in the community, or some of the people that we have we have looked up to as mentor and all the role model and all these things. And also and some of us had a chance to go to school here. We went to school here. We learned about the civil courses and all those American history and all these things. We learn about some of those basic understanding. And also, when we decided to start learn to drive, they taught us the law of the road. We know all these things. What happened when you got your license? You need your instruction. What is the rule around that? What happened you got your license? When you got a car, what are the first things that you need for your car? You know your car need to be registered, insured, and all. You have all your documents. So, with the question that you ask, I think that's what I said. Going to all of those things, or even I can add, even before we came to the United States as refugees, we had an orientation back home that were given to us. There was an orientation that we're giving. How we're supposed to carry ourselves, how we're supposed to follow the law, and all these things. So no one cannot say that all of this are new, that we are learning those things here. No, we did not. At least they gave us a basic understanding of the way of life here in the United States and how some of the law that we have to follow, some of those laws once we get here. And when we went to apply for citizenship, we went to all those process. We all know why we studied and the law. When we decided to hold the hold during the citizenship ceremony, I will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. God help me. So we all sang the national anthem. All these things we followed that. So we cannot have an exception when it comes to the law of transportation of movement.
Okay.
So when it comes to that, why we can be able to follow some of those ones, but this is the most prestigious law that allow us to be able to move easily and freely. And when the law said you cannot drive without having a valid driver license, without having an insurance, without your car being registered, and when we knowing that I'm getting into this car that maybe it is not good, is not registered, or it does not have an insurance, or my license is suspended, knowing all those things, but decide to get into the car and drive, and then I get pulled over. Now start to be hard-headed. I'm trying not to be defensive. I'm trying not to get into an argument, knowing that I knew that I had broken all this law the moment I decided to start the car from my house or from my destination to go to that to the next destination. So that's why I say, when it comes to that, we have to be able to hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah, that is. I like that you brought up a specific situation, because earlier I understood it more like a general thing. So I like that we are you like brought up a specific situation. It is understood that the laws are there to protect us, I'll say. The laws are there, or hopefully the intention of the laws are there to bring order.
Yes.
And there are consequences when you're breaking the laws. There are consequences, and when it comes to those situations, honestly, if you are, because the right thing to do is make sure you got the proper documentation. And if you don't, get somebody with the right documentation to drive you around. That is with somebody with a sober mind, you know. That's with somebody with sober mind. So like, if you happen to find yourself in that situation and you get pulled over, the last thing you want to do is being defensive. You can't. I don't know, but if you start a conversation with taking our accountability, I think, like, you know, officer, I'm assuming if you were to take accountability, they might be like, you know what, okay, we're not gonna let you drive, so, and we're not gonna, you won't leave, like, we won't let you leave until you get somebody with the proper documentation to come get you. Than if you were to start trying to defend yourself or trying to be defensive. And the majority of time, honestly, those that defend themselves is because they know, or those that try to defend themselves so hard or explaining themselves so hard is because they know exactly what they did. Because when you know you did nothing wrong or you did not break any law, or it's just minor stuff, you are very calm. Because you know, even if I were to deal with, even if I were to give fine or penalty about what I did, it won't be something major. So you don't have to defend yourself.
So do you think the way we carry ourselves about the law is different to our African American what's the word?
Counterpart.
Counterpart. Thank you.
The way as Africans,
Yes.
that's hard. I don't know. Maybe you'll speak from numbers, facts. I don't know. I don't know the statistics, but I like that you brought up two situations, and I'm assuming one was African and another one was African American.
Yes.
And it's hard to say.
Okay. I could see that, but I think, especially for us African, I think we have to try our best not to follow some of the negative examples that we have learned in this country from other communities, from other people. I think we can do better. Just taking the example of the guy from Michigan and all these things. And I believe if he would have been compliance with every single order, probably would have gotten a ticket, court, and still be here. But God forbid that happened that way. But I want us, like, to those who will be watching us, to know that driving, it's a privilege. To be able to drive is a privilege. And that privilege can be revoked at any time when you did something wrong. It can be. And in order for us to avoid getting there, we have to do better. We have to prepare ourselves to be able to be on the right side of the law, which is to make sure that our cars are registered, our driver license are up to date, our car insurance. I always advocate that my people make sure you get a full coverage, don't fall for the liabilities.
We know it's cheap, but
yeah,
when something happens, it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Um,
And also make sure you are polite. Don't make sure that because what you say is on the movie you see on the social media, how some of our counterparts, some of the people in community are treating the police, and you also want to carry that identity. Like, yeah, because I've been living here for X amount of year, I feel like I'm now part of this. I'm now one of. No, you are not. And we have to carry ourselves better because I guarantee you, anything you do that's on social media, when your kids grow up, they're going to watch that.
So I do not have all the statistics, and I don't know any statistics, but I can assume, I can confidently assume the majority of time in those situations, regardless of race, majority of time people are under influence.
Also, make sure you don't drink and get behind the wheel.
So how do we prevent that? Because some people can't.
We can prevent that. There's Uber. I'd rather spend $100 on Uber than spend $1,000.
You have the $100. What if I don't have the $100?
How did you end up getting drunk in the first place?
Have you seen? Okay, have you seen any? Okay, you try to tell me that drug addict and those that abuse alcohol, they have more money than us because they always have money to buy those things.
I don't know, and I cannot speak to people's pocket, but me,
Because you're saying like, oh, how can, if they can afford that, somehow they seem to get those things in their hands. How do they have more money? Because the one thing I'm proud of for not drinking, I'm like, oh, I think I'm saving more money than them. Look, But how come they always got something to drink and I'm still broke?
That's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that because
I don't know what they like. I need to use them as a motivation. Like, how do you guys?
Maybe they're stealing.
Well, we don't know.
Shoplifting, bootlegging. I guess that's what they call it.
Like,
but
how do you guys always have money to buy some to drink and
get behind wheel and all these
yourselves.
things? So, and that's why I think it's best for our people to know that that's a bad decision making, because when you are under the influence and you also decide to get behind the wheel to drive, you are not just putting yourself in danger.
Wait, Spani, you cannot be under the influence and be able to decide. As soon as you get under influence, whatever decision you're making is not of your sober mind. You're under influence.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying we need to check with the alcohol side. Like, I know you're advocate of it. Talk about, I only just one sip.
Okay, I see where you're going with that, but we cannot do that because knowing that your family, you are value more to your family, and the other people on the other side also they are value more to their family.
I'm more interested in the psychology side of it to make a decision of. You mentioned in family, but when you are making those decisions, when people are in those situations to make those decisions, they don't think about those things.
Do we have who study any substance?
I need to, like, whoever have money to, they should send me to school and study human behavior in every areas.
All right, you guys see
anybody with money, you have money to waste. I don't mind going back to school.
Okay, but let's wrap it up with this topic. If you have to give like advice, like to our community, let's avoid this. Let's get back on the right side of the law. What would you have to say to parent, anybody watching, anybody that's
well, obviously we know the under influence is the biggest part of it, but also and that is a something we really need to figure out of what's going on.
Okay,
but if we were to get away from that and just the sober mind, would you rather be right and dead or be wrong and alive?
Is that mine to answer or that's for the
No,
people?
no, no. That's for the people. Cause
Okay.
um, you might be right. You're right. We not disagreeing with that. We're not taking it away. We're not taking away your rights. I mean, soon they might be taking it away. But I'm saying, you're right. We get
Don't go
it.
there, please.
Yeah, I know. We know that you're right, but the other side, they have the legal power to use the authority.
Any means, any force, and all these things.
So I think I'd rather be wrong and alive. I'd rather take like, and that's what I love about America. They tell you, hey, you disagree with this decision, take
Go
it
to
to
the
court.
Simple as that.
Yeah. So I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not gonna go back and forth with anybody with a gun or authority. Hopefully I'll have money then. I'll just call my lawyer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree. And also, just to add before we can move on to the next topic, Uncle T, I think we gotta do better. This is a message to our community in general. We often tend to forget the the fundamental of principle of our existence.
What is that?
Our mission. What was the mission that God gave us? Let's do better. Let's make sure. I know that sometimes car insurance is expensive. I know that. Sometimes when he's approaching, you'll be looking mad. What? They got
Just and that's the
But
thing.
if
Remember in Africa, you go to the market and 3, 4, 5 different people are selling the same thing.
the same thing.
You compare the price,
Exactly.
and it's the same thing with you. When your premium goes up, find another agency or another insurance and see and compare and see.
Yeah. Let's
'Cause,
make sure we are carrying valid driver license, insurance, our cars are registered, that we are being respectful of the law. Let's make sure that the moment we leave our house, our home, our family, the goal is to always come back home safe. That is the goal. That should be the goal. We shouldn't be receiving the sad phone call that everyone don't want to hear or was not expecting that because of some stupid decision that one person decided to make and end up causing them their life, end up causing them their livelihood, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And my message to my people, let's do better. And this is why I've been a big advocate of this. I've been asking our churches, our community leader, to do a lot of seminars, to preach a lot about this, because these are the things we are dealing with on daily basis. And a lot of people, we tend to forget those pieces. And I know that we love to preach about the Holy Spirit, the Rhema, the and all these things. But sometimes these things are very important in our everyday life when it comes to certain situations we are facing every day. And that's what I want to say. Let's do better.